Alright, we are back with another what I ate in a day to lose weight. Really, these videos are just to give you a little bit of inspiration for meals that you can make to help you feel a little bit safer around nutrition, and also to illustrate that you can still eat what you want and stuff that you enjoy if your goal is fat loss. Now, I'm using a different microphone today, so I'm hoping that this is sounding okay, but my normal microphone is picking up a lot of static recently, and I'm not very good with tech, so I'm gonna stick with this one for a while and see. So fingers crossed the audio sounds good. Okay, so I don't want to drag out this intro too much, and we're gonna get stuck straight into breakfast, but the meals in this video, I feel, are some of my favorites, and are definitely tried and tested by me multiple times. But I think they're also really good for, firstly, the change in seasons. Like as we're coming into the slightly cooler weather, these are really wholesome and yummy dishes. They're also great for batch cooking and also really cost effective as well. So if you're looking for dishes that are going to save you a little bit of money and that you can make in advance and just throw in the freezer, these are fantastic. And lastly, they're really adaptable. So there's so many changes that you can make. You can add things in, take things away. You can change it up every time you eat it, depending on what you fancy, which I think is always really good. It's nice to have a bit of versatility in your diet and be able to, I suppose, just wake up and feel like, what do I want to eat today? And have that. This also really helps if you're eating with family or a partner or you've got kids, where you can adapt a meal so it suits them as well. For example, with me and Josh, I absolutely love vegetables, so I usually bulk out any meals that we have with loads of either boiled veg or salad or something like that, whereas he's more of a wrap or burger type person, so he can put them with those things or even have it with like naan bread and rice. Okay, so let's get stuck into the day, and we're starting with omelette wraps for breakfast. Now, I want you to think throughout this video about how adaptable these meals are. So I'm going to show you a recipe with stuff that I have in my fridge and how I would potentially make it today. But again, approach these with flexibility. Think about things that you could potentially add or take away. For example, with these omelette wraps, if you wanted to add some protein in, you could definitely do that. Obviously, there's protein in the eggs, but you could add some cheese, you could add some hummus, you could add some meat, whatever really takes your fancy. Or if you wanted to increase the volume a little bit, of course, you can bulk it out with some high volume but lower calorie foods, lots of vegetables, that sort of stuff. So let's get stuck into breakfast with our omelette wraps. Alright, so for our breakfast we're having these omelette wraps, and I'm just going to use a lot of the vegetables that I already have in the fridge. So I'm going to grab some mushrooms, some spinach, some avo, some tomatoes, of course some eggs, a little bit of ham, a bit of garnish and some sauce. And the first thing we're going to do is put a fry pan on and put my mushrooms on to fry off a little bit. And then I'm just going to prepare all my vegetables just how I like it. So I'm going to chop up the tomatoes, slice up the avocado carefully. We don't want to be stabbing our hands here. Mushies are done too, so we're going to pop those to the side, and then we're going to crack our 2 eggs, season them to how you like it, scramble them together, and then pop them in a fry pan. I'm going to put a little bit more spinach in there as well because I have a lot of spinach to use up. So this is a great opportunity. And once it's in the fry pan, you're just going to move the frying pan around just to make sure all the areas are covered. Once the edges lift, it is cooked through, and you're going to place it onto your plate and then start filling it with all your fillings. So I'm going to pop on the ham, the avocado, there are the mushrooms, some tomato. Oh, this is looking so good. A bit more spinach. I told you we had a lot of spinach. And then whatever sauces you like, and then you're just going to wrap it however you like. So I'm just going to do that, cut it into 2. I'm garnishing it for the video, but realistically that's just not going to happen. And there you have it, omelette wraps. Okay, so moving on to lunch. Oh, this is maybe a British classic, but so good, and I feel often overlooked, and that is a jacket potato with chili. Now, the real MVP here is the chili. This is a recipe that I picked up from my mum. She made a massive pot of this once when we went to the Grand Canyon, and we kept it in a big thermos, and we just sat in the boot of the car and just had it on its own. That's all we had, was a big bowl of chili each, and it was so good. But let's elevate it by putting it with a jacket potato. We're gonna head to the recipe in a second. It is a vegetarian recipe, there's no meat in this one. Obviously, if you wanted to, you could add meat. And I don't eat cheese, but I would suggest having some sour cream or some cheese on top. would be absolutely delicious. My mum also puts a cracked egg on top of hers as well. So there's so many different options that you could do to bulk it out. And if you're vegan, you could add some nutritional yeast if you wanted that cheese flavor. So many options. And of course, you don't have to have it with a jacket potato. If you're looking to lose weight, jacket potatoes are really actually quite good. There's lots of fiber in the skin. They're really satiating, and also they're relatively low calorie, and they have some protein in as well. So they're really ticking all the boxes. And of course, you can mix it up. Put some cheese and beans on there, ham and coleslaw. You could have some tuna mayonnaise. Just chef's kiss. So good. So jacket potato with chili. Let's go. Okay, so this truly is a one-pot wonder. For this meal, you're going to need some olive oil, some butter beans, black beans and red beans, some sweet corn, some tinned plum tomatoes, some passata, a capsicum, a white onion, some garlic, some chili powder and some cumin. So what we're going to do is basically throw a diced onion straight into a big pot. Then it's going to roughly chop up your capsicum and you're going to throw that in as well. And then we're going to add a good healthy dollop of garlic. If you're like me, the more the merrier. And then basically just going to fry this off until it's soft. Once it is, you're just going to add all your other ingredients. So you can add all of the beans that you have. I'm going to add a healthy wallop of sweet corn because I love sweet corn, about half a tin. And then the whole tin of tomatoes, a generous helping of the passata, probably about half the bottle, a tablespoon and a half of the chili powder, and a teaspoon of cumin. And then I also added in some balsamic vinegar because I always feel like that adds just a nice flavor to these type of meals, but you don't have to. And of course, some salt and pepper. Lid goes on, straight onto the hob on a medium heat, and you're just going to let it basically cook for half an hour. Once it's ready, you're going to choose what you're serving it with. I've had a potato in the oven at 200 degrees for about half an hour. I'm just going to put some butter on there, pour on the chili, a little bit of seasoning, which is my sweet corn because I love sweet corn, like I mentioned, and voila. Honestly, that recipe, if you try a recipe out of this video, that is the one that you should try. It doesn't look anything special, but it just tastes like perfection. It's not too spicy, but there's enough heat in it. It's got flavor, it's filling, it's hearty, it's cheap. Oh, it's just so good. So I would 100% recommend trying that out if that's your sort of thing. And that leaves us moving on to dinner. I'm actually not gonna really talk about snacks or desserts too much in this video because I might actually just do a separate video and also discuss in that video some of the common nutrition questions that I get in terms of weight loss. So we're just gonna skip straight to dinner, but I do also have some other videos where I've done what I eat in a day, where I talk about snacks and I talk about desserts and stuff as well. So I'll link those down below. But for dinner, we are going for a fish curry, and it is probably the most simple fish curry you'll ever have. You probably already have the ingredients at home, maybe not the fish, but everything else you'll definitely have. And of course, again, if you want to take a flexible approach, you can change up the protein, you can completely take the protein out and just replace it with some veg. You could have cauliflower and chickpea curry, you could have broccoli, you could have green beans, whatever you fancy can be thrown in there. You'll see that I just threw in a load of veg that I had in the freezer and then the fish. But white fish, I think, is so useful if you are trying to lose body fat, just because it's relatively cheap. You can buy it in the freezer and it's pretty easy. You can just store it and use it as and when you want. It's fairly satiating, but you can actually eat quite a lot of it in terms of the amount of calories in it. But the big bang for your buck feature that you get with white fish is that it has a lot of protein in. So it's satiating, and we love to have protein in and we want to get as much of it in as possible. So white fish is there for the win. Plus, it tastes amazing. I usually just have it over my salad, even just have it on its own as a snack. It's just so good. So we're gonna have fish curry, and in this video, I've paired it with couscous, which is not what I was originally gonna go for. When I was in the store getting the ingredients I needed, I was gonna get rice, and I thought, nice and easy, curry and rice, which is what I usually would have. And then I saw couscous, and I was like, I haven't had that in a while, and I used to absolutely love it. It's super cheap. It comes with so many different flavors that you can pick from, and also it's so quick to make. So I thought, I'm gonna have it with couscous, which is a little bit rogue, but honestly, it actually ended up tasting amazing. And I also, as always, bulk out my meals with veg. I still do that because I just love vegetables and I like eating bigger meals. And it just means that I can have much, much bigger portions. But of course, I want you to view this with a flexibility to what would suit you and your tastes and what you enjoy. So if you enjoy having it with rice or naan bread or anything like that, then that's what I want you to do. You could even make it with some dumplings. I feel like there's so many people like, no, that is not how you eat curry, but I'm just here for eating what you like. It doesn't matter. Break the rules. Just enjoy yourself because food is just where it's at. It's what makes me happy. Anyway, I'm gonna stop talking before I keep rambling about how much I love food, and we're gonna get into our super quick, easy, and cheap fish curry. All right, let's get stuck into the super easy fish curry. So for this one, you're gonna need some white fish. I just got some from the freezer section, a tin of chopped tomatoes, a curry pot, which again from the supermarket, some vegetable stock around 250 mils, a white onion, and whatever veg you wanna add, plus whatever side you're gonna have with it. And of course, our trusty garlic. To start with, you're just gonna dice your white onion and you're gonna make 250 milliliters of your stock as well. You can use whatever stock you want. I just use vegetable. And then you're gonna throw the onion and the garlic and the curry pot into a pan and just let the fragrances release and fry it off a little bit. And then once that's happened, you're gonna add your tomatoes. Just let it simmer for a couple of minutes and then you can start adding your vegetables. These ones were straight from the freezer, but if you have fresh ones, you could either pre-boil them or you could just add them in as they are and let it cook in the curry. And then I'm gonna add the frozen fillets straight in as well. Honestly, this is so quick and easy. I'm going to make the couscous. If you have rice, you can make that. If you're having naan bread with it, you can do that. Oh, here comes the spinach again. I swear I have the biggest bag of spinach in the fridge, which is why I'm adding so much in, but who doesn't need a bit of extra iron? And then it's time to serve. You're just gonna let it cook. And once it's all cooked through, it's ready to go. So it's gonna put it into a big plate. I added some boiled cauliflower as well. And that is it, done. Super simple and tasty. All right guys, that is the video. I hope that you have enjoyed it and it's given you a little bit of inspiration of some dishes that you could potentially try and how you can mix things up to work for you and your family or your partner, whoever you're cooking for. I know I've already said it, but honestly, if you're gonna try one, please try the chili because it is really, really good, and let me know what your thoughts are. If you like the idea of a video solely around snacks and desserts and also a little bit of a Q&A about nutrition, then let me know and I will get planning and filming that. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching this video and I will see you guys in the next one. Have a beautiful day. Cheers!